Hello everyone. In this video, I would like to talk about the show Harley Quinn. Now, my thoughts on Harley Quinn itself is overall, it's a pretty good show, very comedic. But aside from all that and my thoughts on the show, I would also like to talk about this honestly this interesting revelation of is the show like similar to this one anime series that I like called My Hero Academia or My Villain Academia. And let me explain why I bring this topic up. The reason why I bring it up is because of the fact that honestly, yes, the show is like targeted towards Harley, but it's not just that. It's also just the fact that I feel like it's targeted also towards the villain side of most things as well too. When I saw like the first two episodes so far, and I'm like, it's pretty interesting because by the end of the day, we are talking about Harley's honestly progress of becoming a baddest villain or possibly trying to be most likely the baddest villain to anti-hero 50 because by the end of the day in comics like Harley is technically an anti-hero or becomes an anti-hero one way or the other. So my other thoughts is also the fact that, well, back to the villain community, it's I feel like the show is mainly targeted towards the villain community a lot because of the fact that, well, since we are aiming towards Harley becoming like the greatest villain so far in the show, it's just the fact that, well, honestly, first they make a whole lot of big referencing of the Legion of Doom or Legion of Doom as a group slash organization is on there. And I'm like, okay, that's one strike right there of me thinking this is My Hero Academia, but only the villain side. That's why I said like the other title, My Villain Academia, because in the My Hero Academia verse or the series itself, in the manga wise, since manga, which is comic, online comic books, whatever comic books in general, like Japanese comic books, the manga is further than the anime series. And what's going on is, or what had occurred in the manga, is just the fact that there was a title called the My Villain Academia, series, or the My Villain Academia arc itself inside the My Hero Academia, show or verse itself. And My Villain Academia is about basically a bunch of villains, mainly the whole villain with Shigaraki's group actually, is sitting around and trying to progress and trying to think of better ways to honestly like go further in their villain work and their villain activities because in the my villain arc, my villain academia arc is the fact that honestly the all the villains in Shigaraki's group, they all honestly hit their lowest at the low a little bit. Not 100%, but a little bit because of the fact that, well, honestly, after All for One was gone, it's the fact that, well, Shigaraki's just by himself with his crew. And they just had to sit around and think about, well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? Until, honestly, this other group, which was the Liberation group, going to come through, which is the main character, Joker. Well, this main character that looks like Joker, named Despero or whatever. He honestly tried to pick a fight with Shigaraki. But aside from all that, long story short, the whole My Villain Academia title is referenced or is inside of the My Hero Academia verse. Just mainly talking about the villain side and how they're progressing. Similar to the Harley Quinn show, where it's like, yes, it is, again, it is basically about Harley becoming the best villain and trying to improve. But at the same time, it's also the fact that I feel like it's targeting towards the villain community itself because mainly you see a whole lot of big villain names or small villain names. I mean, first two episodes I've seen first few episodes itself, I've seen Penguin, Joker. Well, Joker, he's basically A-lister, basically the biggest title there because, well, Harley's trying to drift away from Joker. And there's always a compare and contrast to her and him all the time, especially when talking about capers and heists and whatever and plans. Then you have let's see, who else was there? Reference. There's Bane, and then there's like Scarecrow. Basically, a whole lot of like villains there. And honestly, the low tier villains. Honestly, I had to say it'd probably be the first one would probably be like Kite Man, which is one, and then the other one would be arguably that one like a telepath who was like Wonder Woman's villain. I forgot who his name was, but that one telepath too. The only reason why I say he's low tier is not because the fact of well what he does in the show with honestly facing off Wonder Woman and then he called Wonder Woman a certain word. And honestly that was I don't know for some stupid reason it became offensive. The only reason why I say it's stupid because well technically he is a villain. Villains always supposed to do violent things, so it's most of the time. So it's like, what's the big deal with everyone when it comes to like, how you say certain things. I mean, it's one thing where he might have done one act that was a little bit too far, but aside from that, it's like saying one thing. I feel like that's a controversial thing. But aside from all that, it's like, yeah, I say he's low tier because of the fact that, well, I just never heard of the dude's name before. Just the same with Kite Man. But Kite Man is very controversial because you heard of Kite Man. It's just, he's not per se a big villain because it's not like we always seen him in action or doing a whole lot of planning and plotting and whatever. But aside from all that, it's just, yeah, like basically I feel like the villain community is targeted a lot in the Harley Quinn series, kind of similar to the My Villain Academia, like arc, and those are like honestly my pieces of proof as to why I compare and contrast between both these things at the same time, and why I kind of be thinking like Harley Quinn show is similar to My Hero Academia, not 100%, but a little bit because of the fact that well, mainly because it's just when every villain is doing a like violent act or most likely just doing a plan or a heist, it's like, oh, they're seen in the news, or oh, it's like news are like basically revolving around them and whatever and drama. But that's also a controversial thing now I'm thinking about it right now because by the end of the day, mainly news biggest thing I feel like this is sad to say this, but news' biggest thing or get off when it comes to honestly an occupation itself is probably finding sources of drama and sources of like a whole lot of mischief and whatever and what they could make up to put on the news. And that's not me even just making stuff up. That's just me honestly being honest right here because have y'all seen like the old movie, like the Anchorman, the old comedic movie Anchorman movies? Technically, it was first good news, but then as time went on, eventually the news had to like try to like build himself up more by making up news or trying to find news that has drama within it so they can have more views or have more people be like, wow, that's sad or wow, that's incredible. And then only have like one or two pieces of happy news. And that's not me even making a pop cult not only alone making a pop culture references or talking about pop culture itself. That's real life as well too, honestly, if we all think about it. But aside from all that, mainly those are my main points of me thinking about Harley Quinn show being similar to My Hero Academia, but more of like a villain side of it because of the fact that honestly villains are all the time being viewed on the news, and then on top of that, always being rated, whether A rank or B rank or low rank tiers. Then, aside from that, it's also the fact that, honestly, lastly, if I had to think about anything else about the topic, it'd be just the fact that, well, there was one episode, one of the first few episodes that I saw, the freaking Legion of Doom was on television news saying that Wonder Woman's villain, which was the telepath that I was talking about before, Lex Luthor, the bald man himself, going to say on the news that that dude's not a part of the Legion of Doom or not approved to be a Legion of Doom member anymore because of what, like, heinous thing that he said or one messed up statement that he said on the news. And my argument is, okay, one, again, he's a villain. That's just one statement. It's not like he took off like a baby or he went into like some place and then just caused like a whole lot of mischief in different ways and then went too far like that. Or if I had to make another reference, even though it's kind of like somewhat controversial, when I heard one of the episodes I heard about this one villain called I think it was called the Queen of Nursery or Nursery Rhymes Queen or something like that. Basically, she was a villainess or a woman that was a big villain, and she became so big that honestly other heroes like put her in some like random book that talks about the justice system itself or just a random book in general, and she's literally stuck in there. She cannot do nothing within that book. The only thing she can do is just talk from that book, looking like she's a puppet from the Muppets or something else. That's all she can do. And honestly, it's not only appearing that she can talk from that book, that's it. It's also the fact that she smokes a cigarette from the book, so you know she's trapped within that book. And it was tragic because it's like she was technically the baddest villain of her own time or in her own way in a sense. It's just I guess she went too big or too far to the point where they had to like imprison her somewhere permanent where she can't get out or whatever or can't reverse the process. Arguably, someone else had to do it. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty much sad. But aside from all that, it's like, yeah, back to me talking about Lex and then him kicking out like the telepath. It's just again, that's me pointing out the fact that it's kind of similar to My Hero Academia with Harley Quinn show because honestly they targeting villains more. And it's like it's similar to My Hero Academia because it's like My Hero honestly puts heroes on a pedestal to the point where it's literally their job. It's literally what they do. And on top of that, that's literally why they have like, well, just like how the name implies, My Hero Academia, they have academia like institutions like UA and other academia like institutions that start up like more upstart heroes to become heroes and whatever. Same thing with the Harley Quinn show. Now, I'm not going to say that they're like academia for villains. I'm saying it's similar because of the fact that, well, heroes are, whether big or small or upstarts, are going to be like put on a pedestal, just like with the villains on Harley Quinn show are being put on the pedestal. But aside from all that, that's honestly my whole like thoughts on the show, and that's honestly my opinions and my compare and contrast between honestly the DC universe good show Harley Quinn versus honestly My Hero Academia. But thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you like. Please subscribe if you enjoy this video. Thank you and bye.